the Trump administration ushered in significant changes in U.S. immigration policy. This era was marked by heightened scrutiny, increased enforcement, and tighter regulations. One notable shift was the approach to deportations, even for legal residents like green card and visa holders. This sparked debate and concerns about fairness and due process. The administration believed stricter enforcement was necessary for national security and curbing illegal immigration. This broader interpretation of deportability grounds made it easier to initiate removal proceedings. The changes created uncertainty and fear within immigrant communities. These policies ignited a national conversation about immigration's role in American society and the government's responsibility to uphold due process. The debate continues to shape the immigration landscape and influence immigrant experiences. Deporting lawful permanent residents or green card holders involves complex legal grounds. While they have certain rights, they are not immune from deportation. The Immigration and Nationality Act outlines grounds for deportation, including criminal convictions and immigration law violations. Common grounds include aggravated felonies, drug offenses, and crimes involving moral turpitude. Violations like overstaying a visa or working without authorization can also lead to deportation. National security concerns represent another ground for deporting green card holders. The government has broad authority to deport individuals deemed a threat to national security. The legal grounds for deportation vary depending on each case's circumstances, but the process begins with a notice to appear, a document outlining the charges against the individual. The government's burden of proof and the immigrant's due process rights play crucial roles in deportation proceedings. Understanding these complexities is essential for immigrants and their advocates. Under the Trump administration, deportation efforts extended to high-profile cases, raising eyebrows over the use of Cold War-era laws. Let's look at a few examples. Columbia University graduate Mahmoud Khalil was detained under a provision allowing deportation if a non-citizen's presence threatens U.S. foreign policy interests. Initially, his detention was based on these vague grounds, but immigration officials later amended their argument, citing alleged immigration fraud. Similarly, Georgetown University graduate student Badar Khan Suri faced deportation under the same foreign policy provision. A federal judge temporarily blocked his removal, signaling judicial pushback against the administration's interpretation of immigration law. In another alarming case, Brown University kidney transplant specialist Rasha Alawieh, who held a valid work visa, was denied entry at a U.S. airport, despite a court order protecting her from deportation. Border officials claimed security concerns, citing photos of Hezbollah members on her phone, though no formal evidence was provided. These cases reveal a troubling trend: the administration's willingness to reinterpret immigration laws to justify deportations, often testing the limits of due process. Many green card holders found themselves facing deportation due to past mistakes or minor infractions. The fear of deportation has created anxiety and uncertainty within immigrant communities. For green card holders, the law provides a right to defend residency in immigration court. It's immigration judges, not border agents or ICE officials, who ultimately decide on deportation cases. Immigration judges, appointed by the Attorney General, preside over these proceedings. However, there have been attempts to bypass this process. Legal challenges against the Trump administration highlight instances where deportation efforts seemed politically motivated or lacked sufficient evidence. For instance, evidence required for deportation must be substantial: criminal records proving a qualifying offense, immigration documents showing fraud or misrepresentation, tax filings demonstrating abandonment of permanent residence. But immigration attorneys argue that in some cases, these standards haven't been met. Reports have surfaced of ICE agents detaining green card holders under claims of visa revocation, despite green cards being permanent and revocable only through judicial proceedings. And also, the influx of new cases led to lengthy backlogs, with some individuals waiting years for their cases to be heard. Critics argue that the system lacks sufficient independence from the executive branch, raising concerns about fairness and due process. These concerns have fueled calls for reform to ensure the system's independence and impartiality. Due process guarantees fundamental fairness and procedural safeguards in deportation proceedings. This right is enshrined in the Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. In immigration, due process requires notice of charges, an impartial judge, and the right to legal representation. The Trump administration's policies raise concerns about the adequacy of due process protections. Critics argued that policies like expedited removal undermine due process by limiting immigrants' ability to challenge deportation. These concerns highlight the importance of safeguarding due process rights for all individuals. While green card holders have legal protections, visa holders, including tourists, students, and workers, face a different reality. U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers wield significant discretionary authority to deny entry, often without needing substantial evidence. For example, a German tattoo artist was denied entry because officials assumed tattoo equipment indicated intent to work unlawfully. Similarly, a French scientist was refused entry due to messages on his phone expressing opinions about U.S. science policies. These incidents highlight how fragile the status of visa holders can be, especially in the face of increased scrutiny. Opinions among legal experts are divided. Some argue that immigration authorities are adhering to procedures, while others accuse them of overstepping their bounds. The American Civil Liberties Union has even accused ICE of targeting activists like Mahmoud Khalil for their political views, raising questions about potential First Amendment violations. It's essential to note the legal protections immigrants retain. ICE cannot enter homes without a judicial warrant. Green card holders cannot be denied entry outright, but may face questioning. In court, the burden of proof rests on the government in deportation cases. The Trump administration's immigration policies have broader implications beyond individual deportations. These policies sparked a national conversation about immigration's role in American society and the government's responsibility to uphold due process. Critics argued that the policies disproportionately impacted minority communities and created a climate of fear. The debate raised questions about the U.S.'s moral obligation to provide refuge to those fleeing persecution. The administration's efforts to restrict asylum sparked outrage from human rights advocates. The legacy of these policies serves as a reminder of the need for comprehensive immigration reform that is humane and just. If this analysis sparked your curiosity, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications for more in-depth explorations of pressing legal and political topics. What are your thoughts on the intersection of immigration law and due process? Share your perspective in the comments below, and let's keep this important conversation alive. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.